Okay, hope you're able to see my screen here. Okay, so today we are here to learn about what Power Platform is, what are the services or the tools which Power Platform provides us, and how can we utilize it, and why are most of the companies these days are moving from traditional based approach of coding to low code. And what is low code? That these are something we'll be learning today. And specifically, we'll be talking about two main tools, which is called Power Apps and Power Automate. Okay, but before we start anything, let us understand what is Power Platform and low code technology. Okay, so down the line, let us just take 10 years or 15 years. How did applications or websites used to be built? I mean, they were a very, very, very long and stringent lines of code. So just for a small button, or let's suppose a very small form for that matter. Okay, when you want to build something like that, there used to be a very long lines of code. Okay, down the line, you used to use the traditional methods called Java. You used to use something Python. .NET was very very famous. Right now also these are all famous technologies. The people are still using it, but there is something called low code. For the past let's say uh, 8 years to 10 years, this particular technology has been emerging, and people are trying to understand, if I have a business, what do I have to choose? Do I have to go ahead and have it on a technology like Java, or do you have to go ahead for a low code technology? Okay, so before we go and before we understand one of the service from Microsoft, which is called Power Platform, let us go ahead and first understand the low code. Okay, so as I was saying, right, low code or no code. I mean, there is a very fine line between low code and no code. What is the difference between them? Low code means if there is a particular thing written in a traditional format, I can suppose, let's say Java or .NET, you write hundreds of lines. The same hundred of lines of code can be written probably in 1 or 2 lines itself. Okay, that is low code. What is no code? Okay, the whole thing, example, a button is there. You just have to go ahead. You are given a screen, you are given a canvas. That means a blank, you where do you paint, right? A blank canvas or a blank screen, and you just pick and drop. That's it, your work is done. Okay, you in even in that particular button or something like any control, let for that matter. Okay, you go ahead and have that parameter set. You get that particular thing and you basically go ahead and set that particular parameter inside it. We'll see a small example towards the end, but yes. So this is basically the small difference between low code and no code. Low code is basically you get the particular function, not the code again. You get the functions, you write it, and basically set it according to the requirement, according to what you're trying to do. No code is basically you need not even do that particular part. You basically go ahead and drag and drop the controls, and then your application is ready for what you are trying to do. Okay, so let us try to understand what was happening previously. Like I said, traditional methods. Okay, series of traditional methods. We have n number of technologies which were there, and which are still being accessed. Okay, so people go ahead, hire a Java team. Okay, or any Java is again a very basic thing what I'm saying, but you can consider the traditional basic, something like .NET is there, something like Java, Python, and all. These are all traditional development methods. Okay, consider this particular thing here. Okay, you want to build an application. Okay, and this particular application has come from your client, from your customer, saying that, boss, I want this particular application, I'll be giving you this much money. What would you do with that particular money? You basically go ahead, hire a particular team. Okay, you basically go ahead and make timelines based on the requirement, and then you come back to the client, say that, sir, okay, I have got your requirement. These are the 5 developers I'll be giving you, and we'll probably, have this particular thing developed in the span of 8 months. Okay, or let's suppose keeping it on a safer side, 10 months with testing and all included. We'll say 10 months. Okay, the same approach. Okay, the same approach of having a same requirement can be done on low code technology like Power Platform in probably 3 months with only two developers. Okay, why? Why is that? Because you need not have that particular piece of code. You need a particular developers. Yes, you need developers where the same requirement can be understood on a broader spectrum, and the same coding standards can be followed, but on low code technologies can be. So what is happening in total? Your total requirement is the same, quality is the same, but the efforts from the developers are less. That means where you're utilizing five developers, you only need two developers. Okay, where you need 8 months of development time on a traditional base coding language, you only need probably 2 or 3 months. That's it. So these are one of the major advantages of low code technologies. Okay, and here, the again, if you see the advantages, it is way simpler. I mean, you get the interface. You need not code anything. For the button example, you want to drag a button and a drop down. Okay, uh, okay, sorry. So, for example, you want to add a button, and let's suppose you want to add a drop down. Okay, where you're getting list of items. Okay, just for example. Okay, you need not go ahead and write that particular thing in CSS or HTML. Just drag drop that controls and just go ahead and have that particular function, what you want here, what you want here. That's it, your thing is done. But again, thinking out loud, if this was in HTML or CSS, you would have to properly go ahead, give the proper values. This would be this. You if anyone of you knows hex code, hex code should be given, RGBA code should be given, and many things are there when you go ahead and make with HTML and or CSS. Okay, so these are one of the few advantages of low-code technologies. One is simple drag and drop. Just you drag, drop, and give the function in it. Second thing is, yeah, this is one of the main advantage is you do not need coding background or coding knowledge. Absolutely, you can go ahead and build enterprise level. That means company level applications. Again, I'm repeating, coding is not at all required. The only thing what I would basically recommend is to understand logical thinking. If you understand logical thinking, what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is false. Okay, logical thinking example, you basically are roaming in your city. It is your city only, but by chance you have went ahead and you are stuck between somewhere and you forget basically where do I have to go. Okay, I mean, how do I have to go to that particular place? Then you see you are at a junction where you have to go left or right. Then you basically analyze, right? If I go left, I'll go here, I'll go here, I'll go here. If I'm right, I go here, I go here, go here. What are you doing? You're basically thinking out loud. Okay, that is basically logical thinking. That if I take left, I might go here. If I take right, I might go here. That particular thing, logical thinking, if you have, this particular technology is a piece of cake for you. So the main point what I want to put forward is you need not go ahead and understand coding, or you need not have IT background for it. You are from a accounts background probably, you are from a mechanical background probably, electrical background probably. It is very 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 easy for you. Even in the current market there are many IT professionals who are actually working as a Power Platform developer without any IT knowledge, or even for that matter coding. Okay, third part, like I was saying, right? The apps are actually the same what you feel on your traditional applications. They are way fast sometimes, and the responses are very quick. Okay, so these are a few advantages, very few advantages. On a very high level, I'm saying the advantages. There are many more which are there, but yes, these are the main ones. Okay, now one of the tool, as I said, we'll be talking about two tools here, mainly two tools. One is Power Apps, one is Power Automate. Okay, so first let us discuss one tool which is available in Power Platform. Okay, so Power Platform itself is not a tool, it's a, we can say this is like a enterprise, or it is like a package where inside Power Platform you get a few tools. Okay, there are main four tools are there. One of the tool is called Power Apps. Now let us try to understand what is Power Apps. Okay, so Power Apps is a low-code technology where you go ahead and build enterprise level applications for your company by using simple drag and drop technologies. And then once you drag and drop, you connect it to your database, and then you basically go ahead and use it. So what I'm talking about is Power Apps. What they do is they give you a blank slate or a blank canvas. Okay, now it is up to your imagination or up to your requirement. You basically go ahead and drag and drop your controls. Example, you drag and drop your combo boxes, or a time control, date picker, buttons. Many things are there. You can go ahead and just drag and drop, configure it accordingly. Okay, configure it accordingly. What should come first, what should come second, what should come third. Okay, and then you have a button there. You basically can go ahead and click the button and something should happen. Example, the fields, whatever you have filled, should probably, go ahead and fill out a form. Okay, or should go to some other screen. So anything what is available on a traditional based programming language, it is available on Power Apps. The only thing what you're doing, dragging, dropping, and then having that particular function attached to it. Okay, so this is a very useful low code technology what Microsoft provides you, which is way too easy to learn and way too easy to apply. And that's the reason why most of the applications, like most of the people right now, if they have a business, okay, just suppose that they have a business and make an application to streamline my process. Okay, the straight away answer is they can give you two options: Java, this many resources, this many months, this much budget. Less budget, less resources, or less time also, but quality being same quality. So that is basically Power Apps. Okay. Now, before we go to understand what is Power Apps and all, let us understand a few benefits of it, and let us understand what Power Apps can do. Okay. So before we go ahead and understand how to build an application, what happens? As I said, right? Person will come up to me, give me the requirement. Okay. Then we quickly assess that, okay, you have your requirement. Okay. Now we have to understand Power Apps is a front-end tool. That means something like application, right? This is a front-end tool. Power Apps is a front-end tool. Back end, there needs to be a database. And the database can be anything. If the customer already has a database, example, SQL, you can go ahead and just attach your Power Apps to that particular SQL. And then you can go ahead and leverage it or utilize it. Okay. But if the customer doesn't have your database, okay, they will basically go ahead and say, okay, you are giving me the data, right? I can go ahead and have it on SQL. There's Excel. So the brilliant thing or the most usable thing about Power Apps is you can connect n number of Power Apps can only connect to SQL. That's it. No, it can connect to n number of technologies, backend technologies, SQL, Azure SQL, MongoDB, Excel, SharePoint, Dataverse, you name it, you can go ahead and attach it to the front-end tool called Power Apps. It is that easy. And it is not like you can only connect one particular technology or one particular service. Like SQL only you can connect to n number at the same time itself. Okay. Now, as I said, that the creative space is given, a blank sheet is given, a blank slide is given. Example, you can go ahead and drag drop on the requirements and then make your app as beautiful as possible. Okay. So UI and all also you can go ahead and control. Okay. The third thing, as I was saying, right? Hundreds of data sources you can connect at the same time. Okay. Now, one more brilliant thing about Power Apps is you can build an application not only for a laptop. The same application which is there on a laptop can be built on a mobile phone version or on a tablet or probably on companies you have the large screen, right? On restaurants you have a very large screen, the TV size, big one monitors. For that also the Power Apps is compatible. Okay, so what happens? You build an application for your desktop. The same application can be utilized in a phone. So it automatically takes that particular layout. So phone is like this, right? Horizontal to vertical. It takes that particular layout and automatically adjusts itself. Same application you are projecting to your team on a very big monitor, probably LCD, the big ones, projector screen. It goes ahead and makes that particular aspect ratio. It automatically takes it. Now, okay, now let us understand these are a very, very, very few companies. There are thousands and thousands of companies who are actually going ahead and utilizing Power Apps as their working model. But these are a few companies which are, you know, using it on a very high level. Okay, Pepsi is a product-based company, HSBC a bank, Biogen is a pharmaceutical company. Okay, IKEA we all know, Vodafone we all know. These are a tip of the iceberg. I mean, thousands of companies are there. These are a few companies who are actually working with Power Platform, specifically Power Apps. Now, this is your first technology or first service what we are talking about, which is Power Apps and Power Platform. The second technology what we have to go ahead and learn or understand is called Power Automate. Okay, now let us understand what Power Automate is. Okay, Power Automate is a tool which goes ahead and automates your workforce. What do I mean by that? Okay, what are you saying? What is the automation here? Considering an example. Okay, every day you come to office and your boss is ready with one Excel saying that these are your tasks in one Excel. So what you do, you open your Outlook, okay, go to that your email, boss's email, and you click on your attachment, whatever your boss has sent your attachment, download it, go to OneDrive, go to Google Drive, okay, and upload it. You do this particular thing every day for probably months and months. Why don't you automate this particular thing? Okay, so automation, what it works is you can create an automation where it says whenever an email arrives from your boss or manager, that email ID is there, right? Email ID. Check if it has an attachment. Yes, if it has attachment, collect that particular attachment and store it in OneDrive or Google Drive, SharePoint library, anything. Okay, so it is already automated. Once your boss sends an email, it will go, that attachment will go ahead and sit in your OneDrive. You need not even have that. You can simply go ahead and open OneDrive and just go ahead and utilize it. So this is a very small automation. Okay. Second level of automation, let us understand. Every day, let's suppose every day you are getting a file in Excel where you have data, good number of data. And that particular data, you have to go ahead and add it in your SQL tables or SQL tables you have, right? Big tables you will have. Okay, every day what you do, you basically go ahead, drag everything, copy in Excel, and go back to your SQL and write a code saying that insert asterisk something, 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 and then go ahead and have it. Why don't you automate this particular thing? So what happens whenever you get an Excel file from so and so, take that particular table, collect that particular data, go to SQL, check that particular table and go ahead and insert. Your work is done. You need not even monitor this particular stuff. You need not monitor anything here. Automatically in IT, I'm saying in IT, any technology, it can be SQL, it can be any database, it even can be a very generic thing. Let us take one example here. Okay, every day you get a PDF where you have to go ahead and check that particular PDF, and you have to sign that. I mean, online signs are there, right? You basically sign and send it to some person. You can automate that particular thing also. Whenever I get a PDF from someone from some email, okay, go ahead and sign it automatically. Adobe, you can use Adobe connector and you can sign it and send it to someone. You automate it. So Power Automate basically goes ahead and reduces your manual effort. The effort or the automation can be anything. It can be anything. Wherever you feel that you are getting a effort, manual effort is there. Any place it may be, any technology also. I'm not saying within Microsoft, any technology outside also. If you have the connector available in Power Automate, you can go ahead and automate that particular work, what you are doing or what your customer is facing. So that is with Power Automate. So in our session, in the course of the next, whatever we start, we'll be basically learning these two things intensively, Power Apps and Power Automate. Okay, we'll cover these two technologies. Okay, why do I say two technologies we'll be covering? Because the interview questions or even the roles, what we apply in general in what are there in the market, are expecting both of them, Power Apps and Power Automate. These two come like a package for itself. If you know Power Apps, you should be knowing Power Automate. If you know Power Automate, you should be knowing Power Apps. Okay, now let us just move down and see what more technologies are there in Power Platform and what are the supportive tools. Okay, let us understand a few things here. One is SharePoint. SharePoint is a online tool provided by Microsoft. It is a repository. You can utilize SharePoint in two ways. First way, you can store data in rows and tables format, rows and columns format, like a table. Like you have it in Excel, right? Rows and columns, like a tabular format. You can have it on SharePoint. Okay. Second thing, utilization of SharePoint is you can go ahead and dump your files. You can go ahead and have your Excel files, PDFs, Word files, PPT, so on. It is like a space for storing files. It is also a space to store data in the form of tables. So heavily people go ahead and utilize SharePoint because SharePoint is a easy access to Power Platform. Okay. Now let us go ahead and understand what is Dataverse. So Dataverse is a database which is by default to Power Platform. So instead of using external databases like Excel is external, SQL is external, Azure SQL, MongoDB, these are all external. Excel, SharePoint is also external. For Power Platform itself, there is a database, dedicated database, which is known as Dataverse. Reason why we use Dataverse, it is very secure. Security is way too high. Okay, then we go ahead. It is very reliable. I mean, it is easy to use. Okay, easy to connect. High security is there. You cannot go ahead and, if you example, a table is there, only a few people should go ahead and access that particular table. Only a few can go ahead and access. You can keep. Even in that table, only a few rows should be accessed to a certain number of people. Other people should not be able to see that. That also is accessible. So more of security, more of design perspective, we have something called Dataverse. This is again a database. This is a database. This is a database. Okay, Power Automate we just discussed, right? Power Automate. Any manual effort you want to go ahead and automate, you basically have Power Automate. Okay, so we'll be going ahead checking this particular thing in our course. We'll be checking this one. Of course, we have Power Automate. We'll also need this particular thing, Power Apps Admin, which is very, very, very important. We have a dedicated session on Power Platform Admin. What is Power Platform Admin? We'll understand. Admin is a portal where you can go ahead and have your governance placed, and monitoring and governance, I would say. What do I mean by these terms? Okay, so you basically, being an admin officer or an admin person, you basically should understand how many Power Apps are there in the technology in your company, in your project, how many Power Automate are there, how many are being used, how many are not being used, what all licenses are there. If a new person comes in, I have to give a dedicated license to him. If a person leaves, I have to remove that particular license. What is the storage currently? What is the storage? Okay, is it exceeding? Is it way too low? Or is it has, you have to go ahead and buy some more storage. So all these particular things will be done by Power Power Platform Admin. Okay, now coming to one more tool in Power Platform is called Power BI. I think everyone here probably will know Power BI. Let me also explain what Power BI is. Power BI is a virtualization or a visual tool. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's suppose you are getting a data in the format of Excel, rows and columns. And this particular rows and columns, you have all your expenses, or all your revenue data, profit, loss for the whole year. Okay. And this particular data, you have to go ahead and present it to your manager, or let's suppose the CEO of the company itself. You'll say, will you go ahead and show a tabular format, okay, of all this particular data to your CEO? He or she will never understand this particular thing. Okay, they want to go ahead and visualize it in form of pie charts or bar graphs, where it is very easily, it says, in March this is the profit, this is the revenue, in the month of May this is the profit, something like that. How much was the loss in this particular thing? They want to see visuals here. They want to see basically graphs. What is pie charts, bar graphs, line graphs? There are many things are there, which is your Power BI. Okay, one more thing about Power BI is, before Power Platform came into existence, these all tools were individual. I mean, Power Apps was very individual. Power Automate was a very individual thing. Power BI was a very individual thing. So Power Platform, what they did is they made a package in Power Platform and they added all these particular things. So if you remember, as I said, there are four technologies in Power Platform. One is Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and the fourth one is Power Virtual Agent. We'll talk about this. It is here itself. Okay. So Power BI is the third one. It's used for visualizations. The last one is called Power Virtual Agent, but they have renamed it to Copilot Studio. Now, what is Copilot Studio and what is Power Virtual Agent? Okay, these are chatbots. Okay, you open Swiggy, you have some problem. Okay, you basically, what they do, they open a chatbot. Automated stuff is there connected to AI. Okay, you basically say my order is not delivered, and some prompts will be coming up. If everything is not proper, then it goes to a assistant. Some person will come up there. But until then, you're basically chatting with a bot. So that particular process of making chatbots integrated with AI is basically your co-pilot studio. Okay, so these are the main supporting tools of Power Platform, and mainly there are four, as I said: Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, and the final one is Power BI. Okay, so as I said, four technologies. You need not learn all the four technologies. We will be focusing mainly on the first two, Power Apps and Power Automate, in the course. Now, let us understand why it is a success. I mean, why, every company right now wants to go ahead and have this low code technologies. Specifically, if they are using Microsoft, why do they want to go ahead and understand Power Apps? Okay, why is there a success here? Okay, so let us go back a few years, down the line 10 years. Okay, so in 2016, Power Apps came in picture. Slowly, very slowly, people started understanding, oh, there is a low code technology. We can go ahead and build the same applications on a low code technology. There is no need of coding. Oh, that is interesting. Slowly, people started learning in 2016. And at the time of 2018, most of the markets slowly started adopting. Okay, we have something which is way better than using Java or Python. We probably are saving a lot of money here. Okay, why don't we try to utilize this? They are giving you the same things here, but it is a even better. Oh, what is happening? So 2018, people started slowly using most of the markets, industrial markets and all. They started picking up Power Apps. But the main boom, I would say, main thing came up where COVID-19 hit. When COVID-19 hit, most of the companies were in loss, where they could not understand which market to select. And that is where most of the companies got to understand, okay, there is a low code technology which is offered by Microsoft, which is called Power Platform, and the tools within it are called Power Apps and Power Automate. Oh, these are interesting things. Okay, one main application what was in a boom was called Book My Seat. So we all remember COVID, right? So people had to go to office, few people. So they had to go ahead and book a seat. You basically book a seat, around you, no one should be there. So that particular application was a very big hit. Okay, and that is the reason why most of the companies they started using Power Apps. Most of the companies. Now, from 2024, we are in the era of AI. We'll talk about AI in a bit. I know every one of you have that particular mentality that AI is there. Probably my job will be on a loss, but I will talk about that in a minute. But yes, 2024, AI and all started coming in picture. Copilot, what do you say? Google Gemini, ChatGPT was a boom. Okay, now when AI came in picture, Power Apps and specific Power Platform, they basically go went ahead and basically acquired it, or I'll say the technology they embraced it. That means why don't we also go ahead and utilize AI in it and let us see how this particular thing works out for us. That is where most of the technologies now also are going ahead and opting for Power Apps. Okay, AI will talk with. Okay, now let us go ahead and understand the particular a very basic outline of whatever we have discussed. So basically, as I said, you need not know coding. The only thing what is required is logical thinking. Your thinking is good, well and good. You can go ahead and play with these technologies. Then we have said if you want to go ahead and automate any service, automate any manual effort, you have Power Automate. Okay, we also understood that you can connect n number of technologies at a same time. Okay, then what we said, we have admin potential also. Okay, we can go ahead and control a particular person's access, license, overall the in your company, how many people are there who are accessing Power Apps, who are not accessing Power Platform, how many are something called orphan applications. They have created application, they have left it for days, months. You can go ahead and understand those particular things on admin. Lastly, as I said, to basically manage security, to scale up, your capacity and all, scale up and down also. In fact, scale up and scale down, these all are very useful. And this is basically, I'm not saying these are advantages or these are the overrun. This is something we'll all see in the course as well. Okay, so lastly, I'll also say is there are two main projects what we'll be doing in the outline of this course. Okay, mostly we'll go ahead and practice one particular application called student management application. This is a school-based application dedicated to students, teachers, and principal, parents, and all. Okay, we'll see that. And what we'll be doing is we will learn a topic and apply it in the requirement. Topic requirement. And yes, the second project would be a homework project. And you have to go ahead and submit this particular thing by the end of the course, where we from the training point of view will go ahead and assess your work. So, and based off that particular thing, we'll go ahead and give you a feedback. So these are the two projects what we'll be learning. Okay, so as I said, what are the final conclusions and future steps is basically you'll understand what is the whole ecosystem, what is Power Platform, why these many tools are there in Microsoft, what is doing what, you'll all understand that particular thing. As I said, no coding will not, even in our thing, we will not at all go ahead and learn coding at all. Okay, and yes, we will be understanding the requirement, what the end user wants, and then we'll go ahead and adapt according to that particular thing. So that this is overall, we will be building a enterprise level application. We'll be building a solid application so that you can also have this application probably in your resumes. You will be confident enough. So what we'll be doing is we'll make you so confident enough with topics itself that any complicated application also you go ahead and sit in your project and after some time you know you can go ahead and break that particular application. When I say break, you can break the logic of that application. Oh, on this particular screen this is happening, interesting, on the other screen this is happening, okay, I understood. So you will be confident enough to even go ahead and understand a very even complicated application by the course's end. So these are something which we basically provide from a application standpoint. And lastly, I know we all are understanding AI. AI is there. Will I have a job? Probably down the line, we'll just say 10 years, or down the line, we'll go ahead and say 5 to 10 years, we'll say. Will AI take over my job? Okay. Will I lose my job? I'm just starting. Okay. These are all questions you all have, but let me clarify. AI will not take this particular job 100%. If you even Google it, This is the most emerging technology, I would say. And yes, we have embraced AI in this particular technologies. Yes, this is AI driven technologies are there, but you won't lose your job because AI and all, we get a sample of it, but you have to go ahead and configure accordingly. Okay, it is helping the developers currently. Yes, we are also using AI in our projects, in daily projects, but you have to go ahead and monitor, is it giving you correct or wrong? Even if it gives you a correct application or a correct screen or correct function, you have to go ahead and set the parameters right. Okay, so overall, the thing is AI for the next 10 years, I would say, is very, very useful, but it will not take your job. That is a guarantee. Okay. The reason why I'm saying is I have been working on these technologies for many, many, many years, and I will 100% go ahead and work on these technologies for next many years. Reason is because I know what the technology is. I know how the market is currently. It is very, very high. More and more every day, more and more markets are being added. But AI is basically helping us more and more. But it will not go ahead and take my job, is what I know for a fact. So, keeping it short, AI will not take your job for the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, you can name it. But it is very useful. It will go ahead. Probably you're working for 1 hour and struggling with something. Okay, AI, use of AI, probably it will go ahead and give you in 15, 20 minutes, and you have to go ahead and modify your function, what you have written, not code, function accordingly. So yes, this is the overall picture of Power Platform low code technology. And as I said, we'll be going ahead and learning when our classes start, we'll be learning two of the tools, mainly tools, that is Power Apps and Power Automate, which comes in a package altogether. The targeted roles we are targeting is Power Apps developer, Power Automate developer, Power Apps or Power Platform admin. Okay, Power Apps and Power Automate consultant, analyst. These are all the roles what we are targeting. So that's all from my end. I'll stop my